Hey, this video is going to be about skills, administrative skills for technical careers. If you're in school, you're looking at a technical career, or you're early in your career, maybe you're halfway through your career. A lot of the education you've gotten is about the technical parts of that. It's the math, the science, the engineering, design, research, all of that. But to support all of that great learning and understanding and knowledge, you really need some administrative skills to back it up and also to share with others to give others confidence that you have those skills that you do have. So let's get into the administrative skills that are going to help your technical career shine. Okay, this is Bridging the Gap, Student to Engineer. Please like and subscribe. Check out our other videos on our channel. We focus a lot on helping students discover their career path in STEM. All right, so the first thing is Office software. So we're going to start with Excel. I'm going to start with Excel because this is the most techie type software that we're going to cover, but you need to have some basic Excel skills. And if you've been in school the last 10 years or so, you probably have been learning a lot about Google, but you need to also understand the Microsoft side because most companies use Microsoft. So most companies are using Excel. A lot of the formulas are the same, but there are a little bit of nuances between Excel and Sheets. So if you already have some Sheets skills, just make sure you're able to translate that. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these, then definitely go take some online classes. There are a lot of free options here on YouTube. There's a lot of good videos. You can sign up for daily and weekly tips related to Excel that will give you information about, you know, formulas you never knew about or whatever. I will tell you that I learned Excel during a co-op in college, and it was the best thing. I spent hours and hours creating spreadsheets with formulas so long. I then had to get into VBA, and so I had to get into programming just because the Excel formulas were so complex. But those Excel skills have really, really served me in my career. Because if I have a set of data, I know what to do with it. I can sort it, I can filter it, I can pull out the left or mid or right characters and split the data up. And if you know Excel, learn more. If you don't know Excel yet, go look into it. So I have on here simple data analysis and data visualizations. Data visualizations are increasingly done by things like Power BI. I also highly encourage you to learn Power BI or some other visualization software. Tableau is also another option, but your ability to take data, because everyone has so much data now, and be able to extract that data and show it in a way where you can do some simple analysis. Maybe you sort it, you filter it, you extract every piece that's higher than a value, all of those things, and then being able to show it in a way that's useful to management is extremely important. And I will tell you that companies want new grads partly because they have these skills. And if you don't have the skills and you're coming in with just the same old skills that somebody who's been there for 30 years has, then you're not as valuable. You need to be the person who's coming in with these new skills. Okay, so the next thing is Word, and I'm just going to be talking about, okay, my stuff is going all crazy here. Okay, Word, formatting in Word is really important. You may have to write reports, you may have to put your resume together is probably the thing you have to do before you get a job. Your ability to present yourself professionally, and in the case of a resume, fit the right stuff on one piece of paper or two pieces of paper is highly dependent on your ability to use Word or Google Docs in a way where you can provide nuanced formatting. The software that's set up now can give you a template. It can give you content a lot, but it's really not going to be doing the formatting you need to take maybe that extra line and fit it onto that page, or make sure that the report you're doing has the 1-inch margins and the 12-point font and all of that. So being able to um, provide nuanced formatting in Word or Outlook is the next thing. So businesses run on email, as you know. Um, as you've gotten from high school into college and then into working, the quantity of emails you get just goes exponential. Also, when you go from being in school where you have a set schedule and you know that your class starts at X time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday through Friday, um, when you get into the working world, it is a lot more about managing a schedule that changes all the time. And that all happens through Outlook. Outlook calendars is the way people set time to connect, either with the manager, with a peer, with a group, all of those things. As you start working, you will be invited to meetings, and then pretty quickly people will say things to you like, hey, go find a free time on my calendar and schedule some time. And how do you do that? So you go into into Outlook, and you use Scheduling Assistant. Scheduling Assistant will allow you to see the free time on somebody's calendar and be able to schedule that meeting with them. I ask interns to schedule meetings with me, partly so they can develop the skill, but partly because I don't want to spend the time talking to you about what my free time is and what my free time is not. My calendar is up to date. I need you to just go find a time. Um, so this is super important. I have employees and have had employees who don't know how to use this, and then they will continually try to schedule over a time where a peer or a manager are busy. And that's just bad because it just takes more of that person's time and energy to help coach you into doing what you need to be doing. The other thing is, yeah, just creating and accepting invitations. I have worked with people who don't ever accept an invitation, and then you don't know if they're actually going to a meeting or not because everything on their calendar is tentative. So you being able to manage your schedule in a way that it demonstrates to everyone else that you are busy sometimes and free other times is important. And then your ability to find those times on other people's calendars, equally important. Okay, so all three of these are Microsoft software. There's a lot of online training available. In some cases, Microsoft will offer that. So if you have time, if you haven't found a job yet, or you have time on the weekend or something, I would encourage you to go look for these training classes. Also, YouTube has a lot of resources here and a lot of people who have done these software packages for a very long time and can help you out. So invest some time. These are really important skills. The non-Microsoft thing I have on here is PDFs. PDFs is an Adobe product. Typically, we use Adobe to manage our PDFs, but there will be times where you need to do some simple operations within Adobe, and the most common is probably combining pages or arranging the pages within a PDF. So if you don't know how to do that, absolutely go look up some videos or some training on how to do it, but just make sure you've got that in your back pocket. Okay, so other skills. So writing is the biggest thing on here. I have pretty good technical writing skills. I've won scholarships for it and everything. But I will tell you that being able to write in a way that is professional and communicates what you need to communicate is amazing skill that will make people believe in you more. It will make you stand out when when you're in a crowd of peers. Your ability to communicate your thoughts and maybe even a status of something in writing is how you can stand out for sure. I put technical writing and email writing. So a lot of writing these days, we can just type something in ChatGPT or any of the other AI tools that are available, and it will spit out this fabulously written, really long thing. Um, Now, I work with some people who obviously use AI to write a lot of their emails, and it's kind of obnoxious because what they're doing is instead of just saying, hey, this happened and here's what I'm doing about it, they have this very long drawn out, well-developed argument discussion that I don't need to read. I don't want to do that. And you could say they're not using AI properly, but being able to understand the level of communication that needs to happen, how to communicate that, and then how to put that in writing, and maybe how to use AI to make it better. I'll give you that. All of that is a skill that you need to hone. If you don't know if you have that skill, what I would do is just look at what's being sent to you. Like, are you happy with when a long paragraph gets to you? Do you think that it's easier to read when it's in bullet points? Um, do you think that maybe when people send you stuff, there's like a lack of information? Those types of things. Just start like analyzing what you're receiving and seeing if you can parrot back the ones that you think are helpful and maybe avoid the things that are not helpful. Um, and also reading. I know reading is probably the best way to learn writing, um, but just interact with people in writing, go back and forth, and just understand like what information would I like to have if I was in this situation, and then see if you can produce that on paper. All right, so these other two, the last two skills are really about communication, just like writing, but they are interacting with people. And so speaking, you will have to speak in a small group when you go to an interview. If you are very uncomfortable with that, if you just freeze up, it's going to be very hard for you to get a job. So your ability to have those small group conversations is extremely important. Not just interviews, but networking. So if you go to an event and you're just in the corner not talking to anyone, you're not going to get anything out of that event that you could get if you forced yourself to go talk to people. So if you need help with small talk and being able to introduce yourself in that kind of situation, there are resources online that will help you with that. But just something to focus on is, maybe as you were going through school, you just had to learn and do your homework and take a test and everything was good. But when it came to like group projects, were you good with your group mates? Did you interact with them regularly? Um, the reason that you're put in those kind of situations in school is so they can develop those skills. If you haven't developed those skills by the time you're getting out of school, then you absolutely need to focus on it yourself and put your own energy into doing that. Similarly, presenting to a group. In school, you probably had presentations you had to do. If you were not comfortable with those, or if you didn't feel like you did okay with them, then you're going to need to do them at some point in your career. It might not be right away, but there are cases where you're going to need to do that. And so having that skill is just a way where you can set yourself apart and demonstrate to management that you are someone who has it together and understands what's going on and can communicate all that information. Okay, so the last one is really, really about interacting with people. Um, Care for others, be interested in them, learn from them, mentor them. Um, you're always going to be working with people who know more than you and people who know less than you. And your ability to learn from those who know more than you and mentor those who know less than you, and it might even be the same person on a different subject. Your ability to care for others in a way where you're interested in them, you are taking care of them, you're helping them with their job, and you are also learning from them and helping them through things where they might be weak. That is huge, and from a long-term career perspective can be the difference between being really difficult to work with and being someone that people feel like they can come to you all the time for mentoring, or maybe even just help doing a task. If you're someone who's seen as the person who cares and the person who's going to engage, your work life is going to be a lot better. And you're going to be recognized as someone who works well with others, and those types of things that are really important skills. Right, so that's all I have for this video. I hope that some of these points have been helpful. I know that all of these has been very important to my career. I started out as an engineer, and I used to say I like bridges because they're not people. And look, the title of my channel is even Bridging the Gap. But as I progressed, I realized more and more that your people skills are really what makes the difference. And your ability to do those administrative tasks that show that you can do some little analysis and you can present the information that you have in a good way are really the things that make the difference. Whether you got an A or a C in thermodynamics in college doesn't really matter. The rest of these things matter. So I'd be interested in hearing from you if you have other skills that you think are important, or if you think I missed something, or if I got something wrong, let me know in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.